Most of us are slaves, followers, without any free will, and we are unconscious of our own power. When I started to see and to learn how the world works, something didn't match up for me. I really tried to understand it. I tried to see myself in that future that everyone was telling me about. Why do we start a career? Is it for fame, for success, for money, for our family, for a future that doesn't exist yet? Today I want to share with you how I broke out. Hello my beautiful souls. Thank you for listening to me again. This is another message from me to you. So I already shared with you how the divorce of my parents was my wake-up call and how traveling really changed my worldview. But there's something that was born before all of that. The very reason why it changed my life in the first place. It was a thought that turned into a feeling, that turned into a question. And it made me question everything I learned and everything I knew so far. Today I want to share with you how I broke out of the system, of the matrix, so to say. I really love that movie. It sounds really dramatic and rebellious, and it is. So I was really young when this thought started to pop up in my head. It started to develop and to form. When I started to see and to learn how the world works, something didn't match up for me. I really tried to understand it. I tried to see myself in that future that everyone was telling me about, because it seemed like everything was already worked out for me. So this is what they want to sell you. Pay attention. You grow up. You go to school. Then you choose to study something that promises a successful career. After studying at university, you find a great job and start climbing up the career ladder. In the meantime, you start finding a partner and you move in together. You start earning more money with more experience. Now you can buy good things. So you buy a house and a car. Maybe you get married and you start making babies. Once a year, you take 2 weeks off to go to an exotic country for vacation, and you live happily ever after in a great house with a great car, maybe a dog, an amazing family, and a very successful job that takes up most of your time. One day your kid's gonna be out of the house, you retire, maybe if you're still in good health you're gonna go on some trips, and then you die. That's all. That's a sign. When I realized that, I felt there was something completely wrong about this perfectly pre-shaped future they want to sell us. Something really important seemed to be missing. There was like a void I felt inside of me. I felt like there was more to life than what everyone wanted me to believe. And from there on, I started to question. I started to question that perfectly pre-shaped future. I started to question actually everything I learned and everything I knew. And I started to question all these answers they had for me. I basically started to question the whole system. So that is when my favorite movie of all times comes in, The Matrix, which is the perfect representation of our society, I feel. Most of us are slaves, followers, without any free will, and we are unconscious of our own power. We are not all the same, so how can we all go on the same path? I felt then like Neo when he started to question his whole reality. It's when Morpheus said, what you know, you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it is there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. So before I actually managed to break out of the system, I was stuck in it, to be honest, for quite a while. But the whole time, this splinter in my head was growing. I was always actually a really good student with really good grades. And when it came to choosing a career path, I actually had no idea what to do. Why is that happening to so many people? Because actually we don't take the time, or we are not giving the right space and time to really explore and develop our passion and to see what really makes our heart beat faster. And actually they don't want you to do that, because in society there are already some career paths which are considered more successful and better than others. So if you are saying, Dad, Mom, I want to become an artist, I want to paint, I want to dance, they're gonna look at you like, you're never gonna earn enough money with that. You're gonna be poor. You're not gonna be successful. You're not gonna have a good life. So the system actually decides for you which career makes sense and which doesn't. Which career makes money and which doesn't. We really think we have a choice, but we don't. They start when you're really young. They start to plant these ideas in your head, no? In school, everywhere. They start to tell you which path to take, which path is good. Where people are successful and society sees them as successful and as really like the perfect life. You need to be like this guy. So how the reasoning works is, to be successful in your life, you need to get a really good education in order to get a really good job that earns really good money, so you can be really, really happy and live a really good life. So guess what I studied? I studied that which most people do when they don't know what to study: business. Because actually my whole family was pushing me towards that path, because they grew up in the same system and they have those same ideas. They are giving on to their children. They saw me as this really successful business manager, CEO of a huge company who earns a lot of money and is really rich and happy. Because let's be honest, in the system, money equals happiness. So I studied business, and I realized really early on that that was actually not my passion. I actually didn't like it. I actually wanted to study art, dance, but I was too scared to admit that actually to myself and to my parents, to my family, who really expected a lot of me. Because if you're really good at school and you have really good grades, you just don't study art, you don't waste your life like that. So at that time I was really scared of being rebellious. I actually started to study in Germany, and then I went to England to finish my studies, and I actually even did a master's in order to try to go a little bit into the creative directions. But let me tell you something. Nothing is ever wasted. Studying business was maybe not my passion, but it was not a waste of time. I understood way after that everything that happens in your life happens for a reason, and it serves you in some way. Because right now I'm actually building my own brand, building my own business, and I'm really using that knowledge, those things that I learned at university, for my own business and to fulfill my own passion. I had a lot of resistance to that at the beginning. I was like, no, this is just wasted. I don't know why I did that. I don't want to hear that anymore. It's not necessary. But we all live in that system. We all need to work with the system, and to understand how it works is really good in order to trick it. And this is really true for every career path. It doesn't matter what you studied, and if you now realize, this is not what I wanted to do in my life, it doesn't matter, because you learned something from that. And if it is not from the professional knowledge, don't tell me you didn't learn something at university. I actually feel what it most teaches are social skills, to actually discover who you are. You learn about relationships, about friendships, about your limits. You develop better communication skills and you become more independent. The most important things I learned at university have nothing to do with what I studied, but with growing up. It was a beautiful and crucial part of my development as a person. I'm really thankful for that path now. So after finishing university, it's kind of clear, now everyone expects you to start a job straight away. Better, while you're still studying, you already search a job and you already have a job secured, and the next day you start working. But something inside of me was just screaming, no! And that was when I started to see the lie they were trying to sell me. I couldn't ignore it anymore. The rebel needed to come out. The splinter was too big and needed to be pulled out. So I took the blue pill. And let me tell you, it's not an easy decision. Choosing reality, choosing truth over illusion is not an easy decision, and it's not an easy path. I really love that line of Matrix where Neo starts to wake up and he says, why do my eyes hurt so much? And Morpheus said, actually, because you never use them. So waking up hurts. But it's so goddamn worth it. And I went on a journey of exploration, of waking up, of actually finding my purpose and my passion. That's when I started to travel. Traveling really helped me with that, to start this process. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm still in that process. But it's the most beautiful decision I ever took. So why do we start a career? Is it for fame, for success, for money, for our family, for a future that doesn't exist yet? Or is it truly because we want to develop our passion into a service for humanity? Let's be honest, when we choose what we're going to study, most of us have no idea what we want to do with our lives. And this is the most crucial time in our existence, where we shouldn't decide out of pressure, but really take the time to explore what makes our heart smile. So for me, that decision between the red and the blue pill really is the decision between choosing to keep following your mind or choosing to start following your heart. Start of the journey of breaking out of the system, and I will share with you more in the next message. I'm so thankful for all of that and to be able to share that with you. Thank you for listening.